Used the word collaborate. He didn't say work with, he didn't say, grow, but he said collaborate, as in collaborators. This speech was brutal. In corporate America, the American people ought to, and of course last night on mainstream media, you didn't see this speech go into because they're too busy, beating up President Trump for having the deregulation aspect in his yesterday in the White House. And quite frankly, I do agree that deregulation and the other day for the infrastructure, those are both incredibly important issues, but now's not the time to do it. What you saw yesterday, I think, is so important for the administration. It's so important going forward. You actually saw the coming together now of the last week or two, and personified by Pompeo's talk to the Economic Club of New York, and then the interview on Fox and Barr's speech, a actually thought through war plan in every vertical. Information warfare, tech warfare, economic warfare, and kinetic warfare. You've seen it all come together on a global basis, and from the sublime to the ridiculous, from the very detail. We're going to go, these collaborators, and he called, the Attorney General of the United States called Apple, Google, Microsoft, all these collaborators with the rulers of the Chinese Communist Party, the worst devils on earth. But you don't see on the flip side, you have to have the same type of wartime presidency on the pandemic. And because remember, the pandemic and the CCP are two sides, the war against the CCP are two sides of the same coin. It's the reason we do war room pandemic. It's the reason we started this thing back in January. It's the reason I refused to change the name to War Room 2020. 2020 is about this. It's about the pandemic and accountability of those who started it. That's what Barr's talking about. It's no more happy talk. He's saying, hey, here's who you are. Here's what you're doing. Here's who's collaborating with you. He named companies and essentially named the Wall Street financial institutions and said, hey, I'm going to come after you on FARA, so you better shut up. And one of the reasons you haven't seen Treasury step forward, right, as tough as the Justice Department, as tough as the FBI, as tough as the National Security Advisor, as tough as the Secretary of State, right, is because of what Bill Barr was talking about. And Bill Barr backed him off yesterday. He dared him to continue that type of behavior.